Yeah, Team JVM, c'est Momo, j'espère que tu vas bien, content de te retrouver sur la chaîne de Jeux Vidéo Magazine, et aujourd'hui je te retrouve pour une nouvelle vidéo, alors une vidéo quelque peu particulière effectivement, puisqu'il y a quelques jours j'ai pu rencontrer Criterion qui travaille du côté de Criterion Games sur Need For Speed Unbound qui arrive donc dès cette semaine et j'ai eu justement la chance de lui poser quelques questions en exclusivité française, donc vraiment c'est super cool. On a parlé effectivement de la police, on a parlé du système de physique, on a parlé également de l'apport de la next-gen pour la licence Need For Speed, bref vous allez voir tout ça dès maintenant. Petit disclaimer juste avant, c'est en anglais, sous-titré en français, donc évidemment vous connaissez les bails, on ne se moque pas de mon accent. Voilà, c'est tout. Merci à tous. C'est parti. So, the first question for you is, Criterion Studio is back on the Need For Speed license franchise after several years. What are you feeling now and has something changed in meantime that years?
Yeah, so we worked on a lot of different projects in between our last Need For Speed, which I believe as a big studio, it was Rivals, and since that time we've worked on so many different projects and so many different IPs and so many different things throughout the studio, but there's always been that, you know, we were primarily a racing studio and a lot of the people in there have a great, you know, love and passion for racing games, as you would expect. Yeah. So you can imagine us working on all these other games, making other vehicles, but then still having this back burner of ideas and kind of crazy stuff that we wanted to do. And so coming back, I would say the biggest thing is that we just had so many ideas and so many things we wanted to try.
Need For Speed Unbound will be available on new generations of consoles. Why this choice actually, and what does it mean to create a Need For Speed game on next gen?
The next generation of consoles allow us to do so much more than we could before. Like, we've completely overhauled the physics system, we've completely overhauled the the rendering system. We're pushing, you know, we're pushing more graphical fidelity, more frames.
What do you think will surprise players in Need For Speed Unbound?
Although Criterion haven't been working on Need For Speeds, we have been working on vehicle physics and vehicle implementation across the board in EA. That's kind of what we've been doing, as in we did all the vehicles and the flying stuff and all that in the Battlefield and the Battlefront series, which is why the first thing that we did on this game was create a new handling system that supports where Ghosts were taking it, with trying to support more driving styles and making sure that players, depending on the way players want to play, they're able to play that and have really high mastery in the game with the style of play that they want to play. And one of the things we really wanted to do, we've always been inspired by the franchise, but I think when it's been at its best is when it had the kind of street racer fantasy closest to its heart, closest to the execution of the game. If you think of like the original Most Wanted or the Undergrounds and stuff like that, that was when they really brought that street racer, that underground street racer fantasy into those games. So what we wanted to do is create a system in Unbound that kind of emulated the feelings of living that fantasy, so emulated the feelings of, you know, making big bets, betting it on your own ability. And if I say the biggest takeaway and the biggest the two biggest takeaways and the two newest things: one, the fidelity and the breadth of experience that in the new handler system, and then second is the feelings in that campaign that make you feel like you're a street racer in an underground street racing scene.
I'm gonna just talk about, I think, the the elephant of the room. I think
sure.
Unbound has an art and game direction based on street art. Why this choice? Actually, what were your inspiration for the game, for make that?
The inspiration was street art, right? And we wanted to put some street art in the game. We wanted to put authentic street art, so we were collaborating with certain artists like JC Riviera and other street artists. So we had their kind of work all over the walls and stuff like that. We always see it as a place of massive innovation and massive difference. You know, especially Need For Speed, it really stands out as a standout series that kind of really sets trends and breaks molds and in the kind of racing genre. But we had all these kind of street art and we were looking at it, and then we also were testing out the new handling system. One of the things that's quite difficult in any racing game is kind of showing the state change of the cars and showing exactly what you're doing, but kind of celebrating that in a very visceral and kind of exciting way, you know, kind of explosive.
How's the vehicle physics? Because you talked about it earlier.
Yep.
How is the vehicle physics going?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't write the code, so I can't tell you every single detail, but I know it's got a higher kind of hertz simulation than we've ever done before. It's got stuff like weight on wheels that we didn't have before, so a proper suspension kind of calculation and all this other stuff. We've got a proper undulation simulation, but like it's not really When you play a Criterion game, I don't think that's what you take away. Like, people don't necessarily come as for a sim racing experience.
How will our relationship with the police works in the game? Are there any elements that change?
Yeah, we did change the police system quite a bit from Heat. So we wanted it to be much more tactical this time. They're an AI system and they're there to kind of reinforce the illicit nature of what you're doing, right? We wanted the actual experience of being in a cop chase to be much more fun and much more tactical. I keep calling it cop, paper, scissors, but marketing don't want me to say that. But essentially, it means every unit that chases after you now has a set of strengths and weaknesses, and they all kind of counteract each other. As in let's say one vehicle type, like the Raptor, is very good off-road, but another one is not very good off-road. So if you do some off-road racing in there, you'll take out the ones that are not good off-road, but the ones that are there. But it means that as a gameplay experience, it's much more methodical and tactical as in a police chase, where you slowly take down the cops. You slowly exploit each one of their weaknesses.
There's a lot of precision, and maybe the choice is important, the choice of your car and all of the settings with the car for the car chase with the police. There's a lot of car present in the game, but I think you haven't announced an Audi yet, I believe. I think because on your website there's a lot of type of vehicles.
I can't say whether that or not, because those negotiations that we do with the car manufacturers,
exactly.
they're quite.
Well, thinking about it, but
quite legal.
I'm not very sure. So
but I can say there will definitely be more cars that we'll add into the game.
Voilà, en tout cas par rapport à cette interview pour Need For Speed Unbound, le jeu débarquera, je le rappelle, le 2 décembre prochain. D'ailleurs, pour ceux qui ont le Game Pass Ultimate, vous pouvez normalement déjà y jouer sur votre Xbox. N'hésitez pas en commentaire à me dire un peu ce que vous en pensez par rapport aux informations qui ont été partagées, ce que vous pensez aussi des premières heures de jeu, si jamais vous avez pu y jouer. Et puis naturellement, je vous dis à très vite sur la chaîne pour de nouvelles aventures. Et merci encore à Criterion, mais également à EA de nous avoir offert l'opportunité de poser les questions que les joueurs se posent directement par rapport au jeu. C'était Momo pour JVM, il ne reste plus qu'à vous dire la bise, jouez bien et prenez soin de vous. Ciao!